Well, the issue today is COVID-19. There's no doubt it's a pandemic ravaging the world, and many nations are still finding a lasting solution how we can really keep COVID-19 and we don't experience it again. That is also the reason why that scientists are not resting on their oars to make sure that they develop a vaccine for COVID-19. Africa as a continent is also not resting too. We understand that our traditional medicine practitioners are already also trying to find a lasting solution. Some are claiming already that they have solution for the COVID-19. But the Federal Ministry of Health has been saying that if you have any medication that is going to be a solution, subject such medication to scientific scrutiny, and let's see how it can pass that scrutiny. But what seems not to be true okay with the COVID-19 issue in Nigeria is this suspicion that it's more or less like a political tool that some state governments are using as economic benefits. I don't know where this is coming from. I really don't know. And it's also so bad that some citizens are beginning to nurse the idea that there's really nothing like COVID-19. And this has also given rise to the call that people are telling the authorities that, look, if we have COVID-19 in the country, why don't you show us people that are down with COVID-19 instead of showing us, images that you get on the social media, on the internet, so to say. And most of these images are foreign images. Well, to look at all this today, we are so privileged to have Bishop Akhalame here with us on the program. And we're also expecting Edokpolo Ayamehwe and Edebi Odolege, who, when they come, they will also bear their mind on what we're going to be looking at today on the program this morning on ITV. Bishop, you're welcome to this segment so far. Sure, you're welcome.
Brother.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, just like what I said, there's this huge suspicion on the part of many people that it seems that COVID-19 is more of an economic, political tool. That is somehow being used to generate economic benefits. I don't know what's your immediate reaction to this claim.
Thank you very much, my brother.
You're welcome.
Before positing on this issue, I want to sincerely thank the Mr. President for his efforts. He's really done well. Try to roll out some measures to see how we can curb the COVID-19. And I equally want to thank the state governor of Lagos State. The guy is really doing very well, and some other stakeholders. But then, I cannot give them 100% appreciation. You see, you cannot take away the fact from this public postulation that the COVID-19 is political and is brought into existence for some economic benefit to those who are supposed to manage it. Well, in as far as I'm a patriotic Nigerian, I do not want to key into this public postulation, but you can equally deduce some fact from what the people are saying. Why I'm a bit worried, let me tell you something. I am worried because it seems to be a total disconnect between the people and the leadership of this country. And I can tell you that it takes two to tango. The Bible says, can two work together unless they agree? So if the people and the leadership, they are not in agreement, they are not on the same page. So it shows that there's a problem there already. If the citizens and the leadership are on the same page, finding solution to problems in this country become very simple. But when you see the people do no longer trust, there's a distrust on the part of the people. The people do not trust their leaders. The people do not trust any action or anything that comes from the leadership. Hence, there's a problem. Then how do we get to the point where we are today? That people that begin to feel that what is happening today as regard the COVID-19, people are using it to enrich themselves. It is because of the attitude of some leaders who feel that leadership is all about material acquisition. You have to enrich yourself to have become a leader. You have to self-fund the public fund. They see it as an opportunity to enrich themselves. So because of this past experience of these people, they are now being disappointed. They don't feel that any step taken by their leaders, it is not true. So that is what is happening right now. Because in as far as I am concerned, the handlers of the COVID-19, why I'm a bit worried, why I even join the public to say that it is not working well, is because of the way the handlers have handled the situation.
When you say the handlers, how exactly do you mean now?
God, there are people that I trusted with the responsibility of handling this scourge, this pandemic in Nigeria.
Are you talking about the presidential task force on the national level and the task force?
Yes, let me start from there.
Yeah.
We start from all the task force, whether the federal, the state governors. Those who have the responsibility to have been able to bring this to a control level, they have not been able to manage it well. Why have I said to? I am not just here to criticize. I am not just here to speak the mind of the people. I am also here to provide solution, what they ought to have done. And it is not too late. If they can key into what I'm going to say here, we can have a safer society. We can have a better Nigeria. Where they miss it is that, one, our leaders, most of them are not proactive. It's affecting us. We used to hear how this pandemic was wreaking havoc in other countries.
Yeah, Bishop, let's take it step by step. Now, you talked about those saddled with the responsibility of handling the COVID-19 are not doing it properly, according to you. In other words, you are making reference to the presidential task force on the national level, and of course the state task force at individual states. Now, let's leave the governors out of this. So where and what do you think that this task force are not doing properly that is making these doubts to arise?
Thank you very much. What we get today in Nigeria is cases, real cases. When you wake up in the morning, the cases we have today in Nigeria is 300. This is not a good news, it is hard. What I want to hear is solutions. You see, let me tell you something. Where they have, it's not only about solving this problem. It's not only about wearing a face mask, wash your hands.
No, the solution doesn't mean that the discoveries carried out, the tests carried out that come out positive. The solutions, they can't mean that these tests are not true.
No. That's what I'm saying. What I am saying is this: they did not bring in some meta capacity in solving this problem. Let me tell you something. A month would have been enough. A month would have been enough to bid farewell to COVID-19 in Nigeria. How do I mean? Fine. As a result of our negligence, we imported the COVID-19 into the country. That is not a problem. Fine, we have it. Where we perceive that, what I expected the state governors, let me leave the president alone now. What I expected each of the state governors to have done was, number one, lock your state economy for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks first. When you lock the first economy, when you lock the economy for 2 weeks.
You are talking about the shutdown.
Yeah, the shutdown for 2 weeks. Then what you do? You invite all the senators in your state, all the House of Assembly members in your state, all the local government chairmen, the House of Assembly members, all the councillors, bring them to a round table meeting.
Yeah, when you talk about locking down states for 2 weeks. Like, for example, we understand that Lagos State did that.
I am coming. We have lockdown. I'm not talking about the lockdown we have now. I'm talking a special lockdown. That's what I'm talking about.
What do you mean by a special lockdown?
That's why you listen now.
Okay.
Now, they ought to have discussed with the senators, the House of Assembly members, senators, councillors. Let them bring their own contribution and approach individuals who are well to this society. Bring a contribution. Bring it to the table. The governor, bring a contribution. Put it to the table. If it is not enough, then approach the federal government for support. Put it all together. Then tell us to stay inside our house for 2 weeks. In that case, 20,000 or 50,000, take it to each household first. Take this one. Then when you have solicited distributing that financial palliative, not see, there are some people they don't like eating rice. When you give somebody money, you go to the market and buy what he want to eat. So people prefer eating swallow. Then you share that 50,000 or 20,000 irrespectively, irrespective of the amount of money you want to share. Give to individual households, you lock them down. If you go to a house, you have 2 flats, you have a household, a man and a wife, one family, 50,000. Move to the next flat, 50,000. When you do that for 2 weeks, you are able to distribute financial palliative. Open the economy again for 3 days. Tell them to go to the market, to the shop, and stock their house with the financial palliative that the government has given to the people. When they come back, they stock their choice.
When they free, we make them happy even when they are indoor. Then you lock the economy again for another 2 weeks. In this case, what are you going to do in the 2 weeks now? Is for you to bring out your medical experts. The same way you visited each of the household, visit them again. This time around, you have distributed financial palliative. Carry out tests. When you carry out tests, you'll be able to capture those that are positive. You extract them from society, take them to isolation center, give them the required treatment. Then those who don't have it, leave them to do the normal life, leave them to go back to the normal business. You do that 1 month, then shut your border so that externals will not bring the sickness into the state. Then people can go back to their normal to a normal life. Then if all the state government will associate do this within 1 month, then we shut our international borders. No foreigners. The economy will be booming again. Will be bubbling. People will go. See, there are people who are in Benin here. Before they can get money, they have to travel to Delta State to work to get money. There are people who are in Delta State. Before they can have access to income, they need to travel every day to Edo State. Before they can access that, you lock down the borders because the COVID-19 has been mismanaged. Wrong approach. 1 month, my brother, 1 month would have been enough for a leader who can take out of the bus to manage the COVID-19. Okay. All of us will go back to our normal life.
All right, now the program this morning on ITV, just to let you know that you can actually be part of this topic this morning by dropping your comments on our SMS. That's 08024645409, 08024645409. It's going to be on the screen so that you can drop your comments as we get along on the program. Now let's look at some of the matters arising, you know, as far as the suspicion is concerned now. Yeah. Just only yesterday, the Speaker of Kogi State House of Assembly, Honorable Matthew Kolawole, actually is of the opinion that, look, this whole COVID-19 issue, it's more of a political tool that politicians are using to siphon money from the presidency, the federal government and all that. Then, of course, he made allusion to the 15 billion naira that the federal government gave as palliative to Lagos State government. Yeah. Now, this is Kogi State, an AP state, APC state, and of course, the presidency, APC. This is not like the PDP, like Rivers State, where we have Nyesom Wike, you know. Now, if we have this kind of situation, that politicians of the same party are kind of doubting, don't you think that it gives credence, to the whole issue about COVID-19? Don't you think so?
Yeah, I told you where in the opening speech, I told you that when you look at what is playing out, the recent happenings regarding the COVID-19, one will be forced to key into the public postulation that it is true that the whole COVID-19 in Nigeria is political. Now, of recent...
we are talking about an infection here. Political, how?
No. It's the way and manner these things, this virus is being handled. Like the governor of Kogi State right now, who is always out there to say, no, this thing is not, I do not believe in these things, it does not exist. Most time we discover that.
Meanwhile, he has not said that he doesn't believe. What he said is that, look, if NCDC must come, let them quarantine themselves, and of course, let them also show certificate to show that the officials that are coming to carry out the test in Kogi State are coronavirus free. That's what he has said.
No. Before he said this, he had been talking. Even the governor of Cross River State, they have been talking, And as we talk right now, I don't know if we have a serious case in Kogi State. Do we? So, if you look at it very well, and I have viewed so many messages, so many videos of some people who are already in isolation centers, who said they have not even seen their test, who are lamenting that nothing is going on, it's as if they are in prison, and the wait. You know one thing, you don't know why I came into this. We look at what has been happening, history of things that have happened in this country, that when we have a problem, there are some people who will not allow the problem to disappear. They keep romancing the problems. There are some people now, they want this number to be coming out every day, 400 cases today, tomorrow 500 cases, because they eat so fat from the situation facing us. Why the people are suffering? You know what I'm saying? So there are some people who are there now, they pray every day that this scourge, this COVID-19 should not go at all. Should not go. So in that case, you discover that most of them, they are working so hard to do out cases every day, so that the money keep pulling in, because Take, for instance, you have some task force managing this, people who are handling this. Because we're in a country where some people are greedy. What people think about is how to enrich themselves. The people don't think about the country. They are very, very patriotic. They don't think about the present and the future of the country, of the people they govern. What they're after is, let me amass my wealth for myself, so that even when I die, my children, my wife will continue to enjoy what I've acquired from the people. They don't care about the people. So they don't think about how to take the people out of problems. So you will not be surprised when you begin to see Nigerians talking like this. You will know that things have gone wrong. Have you not heard that a lot of billions, a lot of money have been released by the government, okay, to ameliorate the suffering of the people who has been inside because as a result of this pandemic? But today, I want you to take a tour, move around your society, move about society, move around you, ask questions, see people if they have actually gotten palliative from the government.
So, have they gotten palliative? Have they gotten palliative? That should be the question.
They've not gotten.
No, they have. No, you can't say they have gotten. Let me tell you, Bishop, except if we are not willing to speak truth to the issue. Even on our news, most times we see some of the palliatives that government has been given. So
I told you initially. Like now, most of us in the state, like let's take for instance for Edo State right now. Just okay, you see the governor doing his own, sharing some food stuff, right? You see some private individuals, people like us too, people outside there, doing their own best to see how you can reach out to the vulnerable. That is not what I'm saying. I have seen that the minister of
health.
Yeah, not Minister of Health. The one that is in charge of this disbursement of this fund.
The Minister for Humanitarian.
Yes, humanitarian. Yes. Yeah. I have seen when you have mentioned several times. We are going to use the telecommunication to know the vulnerable. We are going to use the bank account to see those who do not have up to 2,500 in their account before we can sell palliative. People begin to wait. People begin to ask questions. Did you get a lot? I did not get. What have we been able? How did we get here?
Now,
it's so annoying.
Yeah, but Bishop, I think we also need to look at, try to really know what is really going on. Because just to react to what you just said,
yes.
Now, I remember when the Honorable Minister came out to further say that the issue that has to do with the Abacha load that was returned, how they were going to start giving it. I think they talked about those that already had, an existing account.
Yeah.
The social intervention program, that the president also said that it was going to continue.
Yeah.
Now, the problem most times is that the citizens don't even aspire to get information so that they can benefit from it. I think that was where people got it got it wrong. People didn't know that system was actually trying to explain about those that are already having accounts. But a lot of people just came up and started saying that the presidency has said that they were going to give for 5,000. Don't you think that people need to also to be enlightened about some of these policies and some of these projects and issues?
Pastor Dogi, I want to thank you so much. I love you so much, but let me tell you, a time has come in this country that we need to speak to the truth. That is the only way to go. Because the way we are now, the situation we find ourselves is so funny and it's so sad that we find ourselves where we are today. Let me tell you something. We thank God for social media. If not for social media, I don't know where this country will have been today. Because there are some secrets today that are revealed themselves today in this country via social media. But you cannot say that average Nigerians are not aware, they don't have access to information regarding what is playing out in this country. Let me tell you something. Before you wake up in the morning, what you see that most of these things you see on social media, some people call fake news. Most of them, I can tell you that most of them are real. So you cannot say average Nigeria don't have access to what is happening.
No, I didn't say so. I said there is the tendency for an average Nigerian not to avail his or herself with information. Yes. A lot of people really don't know what is going on because they don't want to know.
They don't know what is going on, who are waiting to get the support of the government. They don't get it, even when they promise. You know why I'm annoyed? Let me tell you something why I'm annoyed. You will see them coming out. They will make some promises to the people. The people will have a kind of hope. Before you know it, that hope is dashed. That is why this distrust, that is why this loss of confidence is coming from. Now, you agree with me that
a lot of money were released. Even private individuals, private companies, you know, a lot of millions were donated to curb this COVID-19. But today, we hear a lot of things that this money we are going to be used to cushion the effect on the people. And how many people have actually got it? I thank God for some individuals who have actually come out to weigh in. If not, you do know what is happening right now? In the land now, we have hunger. In the land now, people have lost their businesses, closed down. As we speak right now, people have lost their jobs. As we speak right now, depression and frustration has set in.
Yeah, but this is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. We're talking about a pandemic situation.
I disagree.
Even in other nations where we look up to, it's happening.
That's why I told you just now that the way we manage our own here is different. It's annoying. I think maybe they've not got the right people. I just gave you something just now. See, leadership is not only have to do with construction of good roads, provision of good roads to the people, pipe, water, street lights. It has to do with connection with your meta assets, with your meta capacity, ability to think. Every goal leader must be a great thinker. If you're not a great thinker, you find it difficult to take your people out of problems, like as we have seen right now. If you're not a great thinker, maybe you're a governor, you're not a great thinker, you're a senator, you're not a great thinker, you are in that task force, you're not a great thinker, you heard that thing, you cannot sit down and think how you can take the people out of this predicament.
All right, now
you see yourself remassing the problem without solving it.
Yeah. So what do you think that is not being thought of now? That is probably making us to have all this problem, all this suspicion.
Yes. Let me tell you the foundation of our problems. Most times I sit down, I say to myself that so many Nigerians, they deserve what they face today in the country. Most times arguing because you know why? I am a patriotic Nigerian. I am so sad. I am not too happy with the predicament. I am not happy with what is happening in the country. So at times I now look at it. How do we get it wrong? What is happening to our leaders? When I view it, I blame them. I have to come again, look at their rhetoric. Where have we gone wrong? And I'm just okay, come on. Nigeria, some Nigeria, not all. There are some people who can see things very well. They know what is right and what is bad. You see, there are some Nigerians who deserve what we are faced today as a nation for our leaders. You will see a leader want to become a senator. You will see a Nigerian want to become a member of House of Representatives or a governor or as a president. You know that the person has nothing, he does not have what it takes, the potentials to deliver to you. Just because he has few naira to give to you and put in your pocket, you forget all this and jettison the man that has what to offer to better our life. Then you go for somebody who will give you meager money that you cannot take you to the market. That is when we have found ourselves. When we made that mistake already, we will not go back and when we are not suffering, we begin to complain. That is why we have it. We have some raw people in power. Can I say we have some raw people in power?
But will you also agree the fact that we have so many wrong, or let me put it this way, will you also agree that there are some wrong followers too? Some wrong followers that won't just do the needful. Take for example what is going on about the COVID-19.
Yeah.
People are not following government directives, you know, and how do you expect to carry such people along in this kind of situation?
See, when you say we have some wrong followership, I don't know, I want to look at it, I don't know whether it's what I'm going to say now that you are talking about. Fine. There are some leaders, their followers, the followers you talk about now, whether those who are directly working with them, or those they lead. I do not know the one you're talking about. Are you talking about those who are in the corridor of power with those leaders?
No, I'm talking about the followers. I'm not in corridor of power. You're not in corridor of power. So we are followers.
We are followers.
Now you find some people in our group, you know, that don't do what government says they should do. And of course, these are the same set of people that will turn around and blame the government. That look, government is not doing this, whereas government has given a simple directive, and of course they are not following it.
Fine. Can I tell you something? It's just like a father, a son. A son catches his father smoking. He said, "Daddy, what are you doing?" He said, "Son, sorry. Don't tell mommy." He said, "Thank you." Then tomorrow, the daddy will now cut the son at the back of the house smoking. Then the father will now say, "Come on, what are you doing? Why are you smoking?" He say, "Daddy, See, I thought I caught you the other day smoking.
All right, so what you are saying is that the leaders...
the leaders you are seeing, they don't lead by example. They don't lead, I don't want to mention it. They don't lead by example. So when you want to control, when you want to lead people, you don't need to tell them what to do. You do something that they will say, this is what, let's do what our leaders are doing. Okay? Let me tell you something very important. When I was working in Power Holding Company PSC in account session, there was a man who was there who head the accounting department. One accountant, Olatoboso. I discovered one thing, that as early as 7:45, the man is already in the office. So when you come late, you're already in trouble. What do I have to do? I have to make sure that I have to take my bath, prepare everything, so that as early as 7:30, 7:20, I'm already in the office before he comes. So he does not need to tell you, come early to the office. You have to come earlier. You have to come early. As you are coming, you see his door open. You guys, are you already here? Say, good morning. I say, how are you? You'll be scared to come late. So when you have a situation where your leader did not even come to work even 10 a.m., you would like to come by 9. When you know that it is time for you to come to office by 7:30, 8 o'clock. It is something apply to some maybe when you come to class and you have a lecturer who have a class by 8 a.m. And the student know that lecturer before 7:50 is already in the class waiting for the student. You see student running as early as 7:30, running to class, say, that man, before you know it, is already there. So you have some lecturers who have a class 8 a.m. in the morning, and before you see them in class, they have 2 hours, they are coming by 9 to take 1 hour. The student will stay at home, say, we know he has not come yet. We know he has not come yet. You see what I'm talking about? You must live by example.
Yeah, and also, when you say that, it's also kind of connected with what people have also said, that people, the followers, they don't demand they don't demand for answers. Take for example what is happening about the COVID-19. A lot of people are just peddling rumors here and there that the government has spent this, has spent that, and all that. Now, why don't you challenge the government? If you say that you have spent this, please, we need explanation. No, on a more serious note, the people, they have a role to play. They have a role to play. So instead of you say that, look, this thing is just a way to siphon money and all that, why don't you demand for questions, demand for answers, and see whether answers will not be given?
My friend, don't know here. I want to posit here that we have not yet gotten to that level where we have to question the government. You and I know, in fact, you are in this country.
No, you cannot say we've not gotten to
it. Okay, let me tell you something. Even simple protest, simple one, simple, just to show that you don't agree with this decision, with this policy of the government. Before you know it, you'll be arrested, and before you know it, you are in prison. You know, all these are playing out. Who are you going to ask to give you information, to be accountable to you as regard to what is happening?
But can I also tell you that in this COVID-19, there's something that Nigerians seem to have done that personally I'm so much in support of.
Okay.
Now, we watched the Viewpoints report by Blessing H a while ago about the 2020 infectious disease bill.
Yeah.
Now, those guys at the House of Representatives, despite the fact that we understand that it's an executive bill as sponsored by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Now, those guys would have gone ahead to pass it into law. Yeah. But because of reactions here and there, it's been subjected to public hearing. So those are kind of ways that the followers can really hold leaders accountable for things that they are not doing properly. Don't you think so?
Can I tell you something? You see, Evans, before that process was truncated, let me tell you what happened. It is not just because of the public opinion for the people, for the citizens. That bill will have truncated the activities of some persons who are eating so fat from this COVID-19.
How exactly do you mean?
Some people were saying that if this bill see the light of the day, that means the step taken so far by the NCDC, we have to, they have to go and start afresh regarding the provision and the requirements of the new law.
But some people also argue that if that bill says through, it's going to end up eulogizing the NCDC. Take, for example, there's an extraction of the bill that talks about that at will, that the NCBC boards can decide that that an apartment, is COVID-19, is not free from COVID-19, such thing.
Yeah.
So people are trying to say that, look, this whole bill, does not support human rights, so to say. It seems that most items in the bill are going to infringe on your own rights as an individual.
It's not because it's going to infringe on the right of the commoners that they made it to have truncated it. It's also, that bill will have even infringed on the right of the governors. Now the capacity, the ability of state governors to even lock down their own state, okay, and operate on their own, they will not have that power. You know, if that bill will have seen the light of the day, all these governments you are seeing, like the rivers you are seeing, they will not have that power any longer. Then they can just come to your house and convert your house to what you call it, an isolation center, or they even have the right to come and search your house. You see that it is not just because it's going to affect the commoners that made it to attract. The people that matter in society, the bill will have infringed on their rights, and by so doing, they have to make sure that they work so fast with speed to ensure that that bill don't see the light of the day. So it is not because the public outcry, because the commoners were just crying, because though the people were crying that if we do this, it's as if we are going to go back to where we are coming from, start afresh again, that these people have gone far. But we don't need to reverse back on the reverse jar. Let's continue from here. Maybe after this pandemic, then in future, you can call a such bill, let's pass it, so to handle some virus that will come, the disease that will come aboard maybe in future. But not this one. Just because some people who will have been benefited, who are benefiting now, will not benefit again.
Okay. Now, what do you make of the call by some certain state governors that, look, if the federal government can give Lagos state government 15 billion, then, of course, we also need to get our own share. Take, for example, at the outset of this fight against the COVID-19, the Kano State Governor, Ibrahim Ganduje, actually demanded that, look, we have this thing in our states too. So when you begin to have situations like this, don't you think that when people say that, look, this whole thing is more of a political tool for economic benefit, don't you think they are right?
I told you before. I say I'm in. I agree. I concord. But let me tell you something again. If the federal government have released some fund to the state, to Lagos state government, it is because of the activities and the action of the state governor. When I started, I told you that I gave kudos to the governor of Lagos State.
But you also need to know that Lagos is more at risk than any other state in the country.
You see,
Lagos, we have two ports. We have international airports in Lagos. We have the seaports in Lagos. So Lagos is more of a risky. It has a riskier potential than any other state.
If you have a risky area, and you don't have an effective leader, a very creative leader, a proactive leader in that regard, the people suffer. So we have seen the managerial skills of the governor of Lagos State, and I believe that Mr. President have seen that too. So he does not even need to ask Mr. President to support me. He was doing well. He was using his own fund. Though we know that that's where the COVID-19 originated from. Okay?
Yeah.
So even though he did not even ask for, the federal government have to give him, even though it's not even working, and he deserves it. But on my own, when I say he merited it, is that the man is just working. You see, let me tell you something. I can tell you that the Lagosian wouldn't have known the potentials, wouldn't have known the makeup, the intellectual prowess of the governor of Lagos State if this COVID-19 has not come to Nigeria.
Yeah, but we still have cases increasing there. How come? If the governor is so proactive?
That is the question. Every Nigerian, I told you just now. I said, where are the figures coming from? It's because we do not manage them very well. Where are we getting it from? That's what I told you. Initially, when I started, I told you, it's not too late. Every governor can go back to the drawing board right now so that we can solve this in 1 month. This is started March, and we are already in May. I just pray the way this is going, so I will not keep managing COVID-19 till December. You know why I'm afraid? It is not because what the people are facing right now that I'm afraid of. We know there's hunger in the land already. People are hungry, seriously. That people have lost their businesses. Business closed down. Even when you open, nobody's buying for you. The one is there, except you are selling something that people need to buy, like food stuff.
Yeah, but I told you that's a global trend. So
no. Wait now. Let me tell you something.
We need to emphasize this so that we don't stir.
No.
Yeah, it's a global trend.
See, the way the government in those areas you are talking about are handling such situation, it's not the way it's being managed here. With all due respect, I have said it that I'm not blaming Mr. President because he cannot be everywhere.
Yeah, you see,
that is why he delegated.
Bishop, when we talk about other government, we also need to look at it more critically. Now, a lot of us still believe that the U.S. government started giving out dollars and all that, only for people to know that, look, if you are not entitled, you cannot get such a stimulus package. Take, for example, if you've not been a taxpayer for a certain time, if you've been defrauding in tax paying, you won't get it. And if your salaries are above certain figure, you won't get it. And more so, the fact that the thing is meant for people that have some certain form of residency, you won't get it. So we need to emphasize on all this so that we don't just say things that will look as if we are making bogus claims.
Fine. Thank God that we know that such remedy happened in the United States with some conditions. Then what are the conditions in Nigeria? Let me see here. What are the conditions in Nigeria?
Yeah, like we saw the condition of the money that the federal government said they were going to give to people, the Abacha loot. If you are not registered on that platform, you cannot get it. So that's the condition.
So how many people you know that registered on that platform that got the money?
Then we also saw the interest.
That's why people are not dirty. This is where this loss of confidence not came in. Because right now, so people oh my God, you see, I don't just know why we love money instead of us making it part. Okay? If you don't make impact in the life of people as a leader, and what you are thinking about is how to take the common patrimony and privatize it, posterity will judge you. How will you be addressed after serving the people as a governor? How will you be addressed after you have served the people as a senator or a member representing the House of Representatives or the House of Assembly? If you don't think about the people first, I need to say, as a public office holder, as a leader, is your salary, your entitlement not okay for you? When must you begin to take what belongs to the public and begin to privatize it and get it the needful? People deserve.
Yeah, in this fight against the COVID-19 at the initial stage, we saw our honorable members, the senators at the Senate giving 50% of their salary, and we also saw the members of the House of Representatives giving 2 months of their salaries for the fight against COVID-19. Now, all this, can we still say that the government of the day, they've not made enough effort enough?
Wrong approach. If you want to solve a mathematical problem that requires almighty formula, and you bring in a formula that is totally strange in solving that equation.
It depends on the question, Bishop. If the question itself is strange,
I am coming.
COVID-19 is strange.
I am coming.
It's a new pandemic. We've not experienced it before.
Let me say something.
Yeah.
Once you are a leader, once you decide to become a leader, you must make sure that you have the capacity to always think ahead of time. You must be proactive. Have you ever seen a woman, after washing her clothes, put the hammer outside? Okay? You did not look at the weather, whether the rain will fall. Or maybe you want to gather some water. You didn't look at the weather, whether the rain will fall, so that you can bring your things outside, so that when you come back, you have enough water. You just go. Then when the rain starts falling, you now start running home to pack your clothes or bring some bins outside to gather water. That's exactly what some of our leaders are doing. You know what I'm saying right now?
Okay.
As a leader, you must be ahead of problems. We call it crisis anticipation. We call it practicing of crisis anticipation. It's not only, see, Evans, it is not only when you are a leader, even in your house, as a head of your family, you practice what is called crisis anticipation. What I mean,
Bishop,
you are able to foresee the problem and look for various ways you can solve that problem.
Bishop, we know. Now, I must draw your attention to the fact that at the onset of this government, take for example, when the 2020 budget started, nobody envisaged, the government did not budget for COVID-19. There's no, if you take a piece of the budget now, there's no part of the budget that says that, look, we are going to spend X, Y, Z amount for COVID-19. So it's all over the world, all over the globe. But even at that, we still find governments responding to these issues bit by bit and all that. So can we still start blaming the government for all this?
I said they are using the wrong approach.
What is your own right approach?
Good. I've told you. It's just like somebody now you have the cart, you have the horse. The cart's supposed to drag the horse. Then after loading the cart.
So what is your own right
then
approach?
Then you put the cart before the horse.
What is your right approach?
What I am saying that it is not enough for the senator to have cut down 50% of their salary and give to federal government.
What do you want them to do?
Why can't they take that money to their constituency and guide the people and give them some palliative? Go to the market, buy your choice.
Remember the same senators, they gave palliatives in their constituencies.
I am not happy with such palliatives. I am telling you today, I can't be a leader. I can't be a leader, then I begin to treat my people that way. I've told you, like I say I'm here now as a man, there are food I don't eat. Okay? If you come to my house, you see that we have rice everywhere. I don't eat too much of rice. Like a person like me, I like eating soup.
All right, so what you're saying is
if you want to love people like us now, like a person like me, I say go inside. You give me palliative, go and give me rice. What I prefer eating swallow.
Okay. Now, let's quickly see some of the SMSs that we have. Remember, I told you that 08024645409 is the number that you can take your SMS on 08024645409, and also you can also make your call. I think we're going to receive some calls now. 0522900573 is the number. 0522900573, and make your comment. Now we have this SMS that says that, good morning ITV. My name is Prince Eugene Inofe from GRA. I would say that we should be very careful how we accuse government because many of us do not have an evidence of what we accuse them of. Thank you. Well, thank you, Eugene, for that one there. 08024645409 is the number. Well, let's quickly see one other SMS. And of course, we have this one that says that I am Iyase from NIFO. I totally agree with Bishop Akalame way of coming out from this problem caused by our rulers of this nation. Well, thank you so much for that one there. 0522900573 is the number for calls as we make preparation to start picking the calls. Don't also forget the number for SMS 08024645409. Now, Bishop, one more time, let's look at ways we can begin to, how can we begin to suggest? Because this whole thing seems to be bringing a lot of distrust and mistrust, you know, in the whole fight for COVID-19. You understand? People don't trust the government, and that's why the directives have not been taken, and that's why people say that, okay, this thing is more of a political tool for personal economic benefit rather than the truth of the COVID-19. How do we begin to attend to all these issues one more time?
Thank you very much. Well, I want to say something very crucial here, that institution like this, where people don't go for their businesses, and we have few sellers. We now have what is called oligopolistic markets, where we have few sellers, and of course, you know that that will push out the price of goods and services.
Yeah.
In that case, that has made everybody vulnerable, because your money can no longer buy those things that you used to buy.
Okay, now 0522900573 is the number for calls. 0522900573. So you make your call and let your comments be very, very civil so that you can be part of what we are looking at today. 0522900573. Yes, hello.
Come on, talk.
Hello.
Hello, I'm with you.
Yes, good morning.
Hello, I'm with you.
Okay, please tell us your name and where you're calling from and make your comment.
Is that?
What is your name and where are you calling from and your comment quickly?
I'm calling from Benin. My name is Monday.
Okay. Just go ahead.
Okay. And I want to first of all thank the anchorman there.
Okay.
For putting the record straight. I want to first of all thank you for putting the record straight. I also want to tell Bishop Akalame. You know, sometimes we don't just talk because we want to talk, or maybe we have some maybe with a certain set of people. We don't just talk like that. If you are talking,
you make your own comments. Don't judge what somebody has said. You just make your own comments. Hello? All right, I think we lost that call. Now, please, the reason why you call into the program is not to judge. Make your own comments so that you can have your say on the issue. Yes, hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, tell us, what are your views and your comments on the issue? Okay.
I want to talk about the palliative. When government say we should stay at home, we obey them. Then when they started sharing the palliative, they share one carton of Indomie for 4 people. That is what discourages us. That is what makes us not obey them. That we believe that no COVID-19 is high fever. Before hunger will kill us, let them leave us. Let them go and fight for water. That is my contribution.
Okay, we'll take one more call. Just one more call. 0522900573. Yes, hello, good morning. Hello. Yeah, hello, good morning.
good morning, Mr. Evans.
Okay.
This is from the Austin, calling from Go. Hello?
Yeah, just go ahead. I'm with you.
I think I want to commend Bishop Parliament for all what they have said this morning. You see, we just we said our leaders are not happy. Sometimes our leaders find this difficult of knowing the meaning of leadership. Because this palliative that have been going on, even in the problem of this coronavirus, they are not genuine. Reason because even the hunger virus, even more than the coronavirus itself. So what we need to do as Nigerians, because this problem starts all over the world. It's not just particularly only in Nigeria. But that's the way you have said, let government go into this whole thing in selling so that we Nigerians can benefit from government. Because now all they do is when election comes, they remember that they have electorates who are going to vote for them.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all we can take from that call because of time factor. Now, Bishop, quickly, as we wrap up now, so what are your last words, quickly, 30 seconds?
Yes, I want those who are in charge, the hard last of this, managing this COVID-19 to go back to the drawing board.
Okay.
Let them think out of the box.
Okay.
Let them roll out measures that we know that can solve this problem as soon as possible. I think it's the next 1 month. Let us get this thing behind us so that people can go back to their normal life.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Bishop. Always an exciting time whenever we have Bishop. And talking about the COVID-19 one more time, please, we need to really support the government of the day. And we also need to know that government is trying to really see how they can ease the lockdown more, and so that we can begin to return to our normal life. Now, the suspicion and the rumor going around that, look, this whole thing is a game. You better be very careful. You better be careful because COVID-19 is so real. My name is Evans Unokoge. So we'll take a short pause now. Thank you so much for joining us on this segment.